What's good, YouTube? All my subscribers and any new people coming, thank you. Today, we're going to discuss the attack at the Capitol that occurred earlier today. First of all, rest in peace to the officer that died today while just doing his job at the Capitol. It is a senseless tragedy. It definitely is. Could have been avoided, and it's definitely senseless. And second of all, the man who did it, who is also dead now, as far as I know, was completely nuts. He clearly had a death wish, and this can be seen from his social media posts on Facebook and Instagram, if you guys care to look at that. With all that being said, let's get into some of the underlying issues here behind yet another attack on the Capitol, the second in a few months. As I'll state, I don't think that's a coincidence. One thing the man said in his social media posts is that the government was attempting to perform mind control upon him, and I honestly found this interesting. If you break down the word government, doesn't it mean mind control? Govern is to control, and ment is the mind, no, is it not? Actually, it doesn't. After doing a little bit of research, govern actually means to steer or to guide, so yeah, to control in a sense. And ment is actually a suffix that's commonly attached to verbs in Old English to make them nouns. I got this off of some responses on Quora, and I looked it up a little bit more. And after looking at a bunch of the responses and doing a little bit of my own research on the internet, it seemed like this was actually the legitimate answer to the question, that ment is a suffix that's commonly attached to verbs in Old English to make them nouns. I used to think it meant mind control too, but if you think about it, think about all these words: embankment, advertisement, ailment, disappointment, endowment, commencement, etc., etc. So, if you look at it that way, ment is it's just a suffix, and government is no different. So, to steer or to guide, and then that's the verb, so to govern. And then on top of that, you have government being just a noun form. So government is a person, place, or thing. It's a thing composed of people in a place, usually, if it's a federal government. So yeah, a noun there. So there is that. But government does refer to the people who are supposedly steering the governed. So that part of the definition still stands. So what these past few months, and honestly this past year, has told us is that there's at least half of the population who is not necessarily down with the way that this ship is being steered to keep going along with that definition. A lot of you MGTOWs actually fall into this camp, and myself included, and even the man who committed the crime, he's included too. If you look at it carefully, you'll actually notice that this guy was a MGTOW. 25 years old, recently lost his job, recently found faith in the somewhat radical Nation of Islam, so probably not the faith that many of you have, but does this sound at least a little bit familiar? Think about it. Does it sound a little bit familiar? Not exactly thing for thing, but in general. I mean, that's for you to answer. So what this guy did is definitely radical. And I'm not going to say that we should be killing police officers who are honestly just trying to do their jobs. Or any government worker for that matter, to be honest. Because if you look carefully, you'll see that most of the people around you with steady work actually do work for the government. And me personally, I would have worked for the government as a pharmacist, because if you look carefully, who do we answer to and who gives us our license? The Department of Consumer Affairs, which is, if I remember, the Department of Consumer Affairs, if I remember correctly, and then that's an entity of the government, right? So, and you can debate, is that a good thing, is that not a good thing? I mean, it's good that there's some quality assurance there, but you know, you get into bureaucracy and all that stuff, and like, that's not part of this video, so I'm not, gonna talk about that. But I mean, there's quality assurance there. That's not bad. But perhaps it is part of the problem. Remember what I say in my other videos about what happens when the government gets too big? So you balance that quality assurance with the bureaucracy, and has it gotten out of balance? I think you already have your opinion on that. MGTOWs definitely come in a lot of shapes, sizes, and colors, and from different backgrounds. But we all are aware that something is kind of amiss here. At least that's the sense that I'm getting. And the older heads, honestly, they've been around it a long time, so I'm kind of more listening to them. I'm just a young person. And from my forays into the quote-unquote real world, or whatever you want to call it, I don't have too much context, so I can't speak on things greater than myself. Like, I can't speak with authority on that many things that are greater than myself, to be honest. But all I know is from my personal experience. There are some things here and there that are kind of weird, but I'm still trying to understand the world in general, so take that with a grain of salt. In my opinion, honestly, don't go crazy like this guy, and don't allow the government to control your brain either, or your mind. This is part of the reason we're going our own way, right? I mean, it's about taking control of your mind and yourself, and figuring out your own constructive purpose, and acting on that constructive purpose. So basically, organize yourself, right? You don't really want to be organized by the government. I mean, if you're a MGTOW, you probably don't. You don't want to be organized by, like, a woman. A lot of you guys, like I say, I'm kind of more MGTOW because of, like, more government and economics rather than women. To be honest, I just talking to a couple of fine young women. So I mean, it is what it is, but organize yourself and do it for yourself. Don't necessarily do it for another entity, just do it for yourself, and the other entities will honestly come. And if it's the government coming, buy them weapons. That's all I'm gonna say. If we continue to try to do that, the society will start to look a lot different, and honestly, I can't wait for that, hence me having this YouTube channel. Honestly, don't get distracted, because these people are going to try to be talking about race and all this stuff. Like, just looking at the media coverage and the YouTube comments, and like the Facebook comments, whatever social media you're on, people already just want to get distracted, calling it race, calling it this, that, or the other, rather than looking at it as it's a problem of the government and the people. So, that's just facts. Like, there's a lot of different sub-issues, but I think the main issue has more to do with economics and the government and the individual people, because group mentalities act different from individual mentalities. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so don't get distracted. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if y'all like this content. Got more videos coming for you guys. They might get more radical, so we'll see what happens. Them 18 subs, y'all are in for a treat. Alright, peace out. I'll catch y'all later. Stay healthy. Deuces.